Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best, if he wins, knows the thrills of high achievement, and if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat."
All right, fucking ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're live. So thanks for doing this, brother. Honestly, you're the first person I heard share at a meeting where I'm like, I gotta ask that dude to be on my podcast. Like everybody else, either I knew or was like recommended to me.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, the funny part is I don't remember what you said. But in that moment on that day, I'm like, holy fuck, dude! Like that's a great story, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So where you from? I run it back for me. Where'd you grow up originally?
So I'm originally from like Ronhurst, right by Northeast High School. Mm-hmm. Shit, I might sneeze, but yeah, we lived there for a while with my grandmother, and then my mom got remarried, and we moved to Roxborough, and I was there for, I think it was like second grade until my freshman year, sophomore year.
Bless you, bless
Excuse
you.
me. Shit. But yeah, right around there.
So you were with your grandma? Was your parents not around at that time? Or?
It was my mom. She was a single mom, and then she got started dating and shit again. And then once she got remarried and stuff, that's when we moved back up to Roxborough. But it was just me. It was me and my older brother, dude. That's you know what I mean?
Yeah. How much older is your brother
8
than you?
years.
Oh, really? That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you?
28.
28. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So grow up. So second grade, you're in Roxborough, right? So it's you, your mom, and your grandmom, and your older brother.
No, it's me, my older brother, my mom, and then her new husband.
Her new husband.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How was that dude like?
Yeah, he the crazy part is, man, and I only know this now from being in the program and the manipulation, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the time, you're a kid.
You don't see that shit.
Yeah. I truthfully, I love my mom. You're taught, you know what I mean? This is your new dad. You know what I mean?
Well, I have a similar situation. But
Yeah, you're going to trust that dude and love him. I'm like, all right, cool. And then, you know, fucking, there was a span in my life that I, look back on, and it was probably, I'd say 6, 7 years of it was a good childhood. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There was a lot of chaos still, but you know what I mean? There was a lot of core memories there.
That were good.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And then the drugs and alcohol were like more hidden then because everything was good.
When you say hidden, like hidden with your mom and your stepdad?
My mom, not so much the stepdad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when like as I got older, it was probably around like 11, 12 years old and shit like that.
So it's like 6th, 7th, 8th grade or in that range?
Yeah, right around there. Yeah, like the chaos really started to ensue.
Yeah.
And then,
That's pretty wild.
yeah.
Only because that was the identical time for me when I found out my dad was on heroin.
Okay, yeah. It's weird. You know what I mean? You're not you're like kind of becoming like an adult-ish, you know what I mean? And you're like starting to see things. You know what I mean?
You're picking up on things that like maybe don't happen at your boys' cribs.
Yeah. But it was like, I mean, when I say like, I can remember like 4th grade and shit, dude. Like, just like, like for me it was normal, but now looking back, it's like, holy fuck. Like I can remember like the household got so bad that like I'm sleeping over like other kids' houses during the week, like during the school week, and the mom's making me lunch to go to school. And like at the time, like I thought that shit was like cool.
Yeah,
you know
like this is an adventure.
Yeah.
Because there was times where like anytime we get my sister's been sober almost 18 years and she's 3 years younger than me. But there were stints in our childhood where all of a sudden we're at grandmom's house for like multiple days in a row. And it was great. You get the root beer floats at night. They take you out to breakfast. But we're like, why are we here for so many days in a row? Your parents got separated for the 25th time, dude. We just didn't know. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But yeah, you know what I mean? And then just like, I'm like, now, like, look, you know what I mean? Like, I always, you know, the work is constantly like has to be done daily, you know what I mean? Just like 4 years compared to like what those, I guess, like, 17, 18 years. My numbers are probably way off, but I'm just like putting it in like somewhat of a time frame of
Yeah.
like, you know, there's just so much work to be done. You know what I mean? Like I get moments like where I like try to like, cause I'm still trying to pick apart like my emotions and like why I'm feeling what I'm feeling or even what I'm feeling, Cause
Yeah.
it's like, I still, majority of the time it's either happy or angry. You know what I mean?
One of the
Like,
two.
and a lot of like like, I guess other emotions, like when I don't know what I'm feeling, you know what I mean? Just goes straight to anger and shit
Well,
like that.
it's hard
So,
to even like articulate or point out some of the emotions because you don't even know what the fuck they are. You know what I mean? I remember when I was in rehab, they gave me like the emotion wheel, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I feel that and that and that. Like I just never would have thought to say those words because like it would just be like say like either happy, angry, or fucking miserable. One of the three, dude. So walk me through it. So you got your stepdad, you, your brother, and your mom. You're in Roxborough, and at what point did you start realizing there was an issue with the family and start doing your own thing and kind of end up to this point today? Like, what happened for you?
so I have family members. I've had multiple family members, you know what I mean, overdose, die. And I also have other family members sober over 35 plus years.
Really?
Yeah. And I can remember my grandmother, like when I was like 10 years old, like I already had the isms before I put a drink in me. And like I remember her telling me like you're gonna be a problem when you get older. You know what I mean? I think that was at like Easter at her house or something. You know what I mean?
You're gonna be a motherfucker.
Yeah, but it was just because like you know what I mean. The manipulation was already there.
You're learning that. You're learning those
Yeah.
behaviors. You see them. You're learning them.
Yeah, so she already knew what it was hitting for, and I like remember like kind of just like brushing it off. You know what I mean? Like I was like kind of hurtful because I'm like, why would she say that to her grandson? You know what I mean? And then, but my grandfather passed when I was I think like 13 or 14, and he died with 32 years sober.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
and but like that's like was like the tip of the iceberg. I like to call it in my life. Like when he passed, like all kind of parental supervision was gone. Like I kind of like my mom went in this like crazy deep dark depression.
Really?
You know what I mean? So like she was like fairly strict growing up. You know what I mean? And I guess that was like my like arrival moment. You know what I mean? Like I was finally able to go into the woods and shit. Like start drinking. Like I remember I went out. It was like a Friday night or something, and I like came home and I must have just like smelt like weed.
Right.
Bro, she beat the balls off me. I
Really?
didn't even touch weed. I didn't even drink. Just cause I knew what the consequences were.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like I think like I smelt like it and I was like eating chicken nuggets at like 11:30 at night. She wasn't buying it. You know what I mean? And it wasn't shortly like it was shortly after you know what I mean, like all that stuff happened and then you know what I mean? It was like the weekend warrior kegs up on Walnut Lane golf course.
Right. Yeah. It's like a
Yeah.
different world. Roxborough, Manayunk area.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
And then Houston, you know what I mean? It's the same anywhere you go. You know what I mean?
So-
you find the rec center, you find the golf
absolutely.
course, you know.
I just had I don't know if you know him or not, Ryan and Jimmy Fettingham.
I don't know. Yeah.
Ryan's sober. They're both sober about 4.5 years. But we started off, it's the same story for all of us, dude. You have fun with your boys in the woods. You fall in love with drugs. You fuck your life up. You go to rehab, and then you're here. Like, that's the bullet points. But it's all the same for us, dude. It's
Yeah.
like some people go one way. We just go a different way. You know what I mean? So where'd you go to high school?
So I'm living in Roxborough.
Because you moved around a lot at
Yeah,
some
yeah,
point.
yeah. Like, so that's like my sophomore year is like where everything kind of changes for me. But we're living up in Roxborough and like all my friends are getting ready to go to Roman and shit. And my mom like had like this deep rooted resentment against Roman because we're like originally from the Northeast. My brother played football for Judge.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And, there was like something that happened. They knew that my brother had moved to Roxborough, so they wanted him to transfer over to play for Roman and stuff, and just like complete bullshit stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So anyhow, I'm in Judge, and like my initial thought, I'm 15 years old, 16 years old. It's like, you know what I mean? Like why do I gotta, like, I'm going with all these dudes I don't know. The testosterone's flowing, the ego's through the roof.
I
I
went to
think I
Judge.
know
Yep.
everything. You know what I mean? And before I even, like, it was the summer I was going into my freshman year. Like, I came down here, I was like, you know, messing around with a chick that was friends with everybody from Mayfair or whatever.
Okay.
And like, it's already starting, you know what I mean? The fights and shit like that.
Who the
Yeah.
fuck's this guy?
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. You know what I mean?
I'm just banging your girl, dude. What do you want me to do?
They were mad as shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I get it.
and that's
That's awesome.
normal for that age, you know? So anyhow, I go there and I played football and stuff. So I like sort of kind of made friends, but like nothing ever gelled because I didn't grow up with those kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So after football season was done.
And you were pretty good too, right?
Yeah, it was decent. Yeah. You know what I mean? My sport was always baseball
That's right,
growing
okay.
up. Yeah, but like I stuck with football my freshman year and you know, got into this huge fight and the mom wanted to like sue my, like, you know what I mean? They're calling because like, you know what I mean? It made my ego go through the roof because the dude was like bigger than me, you know what I mean?
You tuned him up?
I tuned him up. You know what I mean? I thought I'm the man. I'm going there. His brother's a senior. Like, I remember like after that happened, you know what I mean? Like the brother just like kind of tortured me after that. You know what I mean? Like there was like a week straight, dude. I was just picking papers and books up off the floor. I'm a freshman with all my books and shit in my hand, walking through the hall. And like from that point, it was like, what can I do to get out of here?
Get out of
get the
Judge.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then I just kind of started picking shit. And then my mom was like, all right, you know what I mean? And that just didn't pan out. You know what I mean? They were like, we think it's probably best, you know, that you go to Roman. And then
You
like,
gotta get the fuck outta here.
Dude, that was another arrival moment. You know what I mean?
That's your people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then at the same token too, like I didn't realize at the time, but all I wanted was attention, dude. You know what I mean? So like once I got to Roman, it was like, how can I be the biggest class clown? And for me, dude, school was always easy. Never had to study, never nothing. Was always on honors. Like
No shit.
that was just like how it was for me. You know what I mean? I'm
That-
not like
so-
some genius or anything, but
I was very similar. Like I think I have like 4 or 5 underage drinkings in high school. Always getting in trouble, but my grades were always on point.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason why I didn't get in trouble with my parents. Cause like, fuck it, you get good grades, you're a motherfucker everywhere else. But like that was how I like got by. So I get that.
yeah,
I get that.
that was my saving grace, dude. That honestly, you know what I mean? Like that was like to me, I'm like, that's God. You know what I mean? God was looking out for me. He let me like get by in school and do good. You know what I mean?
You're an asshole, but you're a smart asshole. So.
And but yeah, like anytime there was like a couple times like I had gotten jammed up, you know what I mean? But at the time my mom was a cop and stuff. So
Oh, really?
like everything was kind of like, you know, like, and there was I think it was my freshman year, my buddy's dad was like in the, like getting ready to like he's in the DA's office. I forget how the whole thing was, but anyhow, his parents were supposed to be gone for the weekend and shit. Anyhow, we all get caught, you know what I mean? And like I think it was like a week later or 2 weeks later or something that that person wound up, he was an adult, wound up getting in trouble.
Would he get all the liquor for you guys and shit?
Nah. Our friend like brought it, but I'm saying like the household we were in, we were like getting told like you can't be drinking, da.
Okay.
And then the adults got in trouble like 2 weeks later at their job and shit like that. So it was funny. But yeah, it wasn't so. It's all like funny and shit. Like it was like fresh. So I was like 6 months in, I go to Roman or whatever. And now that like my household is like, just like I would have like, you know what I mean? I remember like going out and like not wanting to come home at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was like spending as much time as possible away from the house. And then,
Just chaos at the crib all the
dude,
time.
like I was just getting my ass beat all the time.
Really?
You know what I
Like,
mean? And
step
like,
pop?
yeah, drugs and alcohol. Like, you know what I mean? Like now I have some like empathy for the dude and shit, but at the time, like I lived so much time of my life in fear. You know what I mean? And it was like, I'm going to call the cops. And they were like, I am the cops. I was like, fuck. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah,
Like, you know
yeah.
what's going on is not okay.
Yeah.
And, like, you don't even know what to do because that's, oh, man,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fucking terrible.
And then I like finally told my mom, like, and my mom, like my relationship with my mom, like early on was like I always questioned everything. And I don't think she liked that. You know what I mean? Like I knew shit wasn't right. You know what I
Give
mean?
me an example.
like, so there was like some things that had happened in her past, and like, instead of just like I think she wanted me to just like trust and believe whatever she said and like go along with it and stuff, and I like kind of went behind her back to like other family members, and I'm like, this isn't sitting right with me. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then I presented a different side to her, and then it was like,
She probably felt a little betrayed by your ass. But
yeah.
I get it. Like, you don't like, something's not right.
yeah,
And you're just asking for confirmation from somewhere else.
yeah.
And then they tell you, like, yeah, that's not right. Dude.
Yeah, and then it was like being resentful towards her because she knew what was going on in the household, but she's like deciding to stay and stick. You know what I mean? And like I like, like for me and my brother, it's like, come on, like it was us three for so long before you even, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of choosing this dude over
yeah.
us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Hold on one
yeah, you're good. Yeah.
I get it.
No, so there was like at that point, like I was like, they were like in such conflict with each other, my mom and her husband. I don't even like calling them step pops. You know what I mean? Like that's her husband. You know what I mean? But like it was a point where they were like such in conflict with each other. And like my brother was like he was like an adult at this point. So like he's kind of already starting to live his life. And I have a younger sister who's 8 years younger. So she's the
Oh, no
baby.
shit.
And like I felt like I was like at that like I'm the one that's always in the house, like
Dealing
you know
with
what I
this
mean?
shit.
Yeah, like I'm like kind of like the I forget how they call it, but like I'm getting the shit end of the stick, and like that's how those two are like coming together is like fucking, you know what I mean, putting it on me and shit. Like there's a story like they went out one night and it was me, and like I was home and I clogged the toilet, you know what I mean, and like. Dude, when I tell you, like, it was an accident.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I swear I didn't do that shit on purpose. And they were like, nah, you did that shit on purpose. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was fucking... Just, like, to me, dude, I don't know. You know what I mean? You know how, like, and that's, like, where this, like, tough guy thing comes in for me, too, is, like, when you're getting, like, your ass beat by a grown-ass man when you're a kid, and, like, you feel like you can't do nothing, you know what I mean? Like, it's so demoralizing. You know what I mean? Because, like, you want to fight back, but you're like, there's no shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyhow, so that was, like, the final straw when that, like, happened. And I was just, like, told my mom, like, I was in, like, so much pain. I'm like, can you please, like, you know what I mean? Like, call quits with this dude. And that was it, dude. She did. She listened to me. And I, like, can't remember what transpired from that time. Like moving forward, like I'm already like in full manipulation. Like I really think like I was in such fear of what may happen. Like if he finds out that I'm the one that like brought that to her and shit. So I don't know really what it's called. But anyhow, when they got divorced, me and my mom weren't on good terms. So I wind up going with him. And
With the stepdad?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So you just came to your mom, like,
Yeah.
probably physically, mentally beaten down, and you asked her to end this relationship, and you end up with him?
Yeah.
How's that happen?
I think I caught resentment towards her because my uncle wanted me to go with him and my older brother wanted me to go with him.
How old are you at this point?
15, 16, however old you are, like freshman, sophomore year.
So
right
you already
around
know,
there.
like you're like a young adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think growing up the way we did at that age, you're a young adult. Like if you ask me about my daughter today at 15, 16, like no way, not a young adult, very immature. But like I think a lot of things probably happen to you. You're forced to grow up rather quickly, so you already know what's going on with life. And man, you got to go with the step hop.
Well, I chose to. And it's because I caught a resentment towards my mom. Like, why won't you let me like go with like I knew that was at that time that was the best two options I had was to either go with my brother or with my uncle. You know what I mean? And she wouldn't let me do it, and I couldn't understand why. You know what I mean? And like I thought I could manipulate, like still going to Roman and somehow like stay with him, and he would allow me to either go with my brother or my uncle at some point. And then it just became like a pissing contest between the two of them because he adopted me. I was in like 8th grade or something. And to me, that's like the worst part. Like one of the worst parts because it's like it's like this lingering ghost that I have in my life. You know what I mean? Because like I'm like in the process of like trying to change my last name and shit like that. So it's just like this like I like hold all this weight on me
Man,
from
that's
like
a lot.
yeah, it's crazy. But anyhow, you know what I mean? So I go through my sophomore year and it's April of my sophomore year,
Okay.
right? And this the you know, my mom's ex-husband very 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 sick family. You know what I mean? Which is okay. Like everybody's got their own shit,
Sure.
you know what I mean? But there was just he hadn't spoken to somebody in his family for 28 years for something that had happened 28 years ago that was like a lot of legal stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Like really fucked up shit. I don't want to go too deep into
Sure,
it.
I
You know what I
understand.
mean? But it was just like things that like people would be like, doesn't make sense because it's like can't really wrap your head around it. But this is like insanity. So it's April of my sophomore year. School's about to get out. And we go and visit this person. You know what I mean? They live in South Carolina, right? We go in April. I'll never forget. I get there. They had like it was a Gamecocks like baseball cap
Yeah,
and shit. They
South
knew I
Carolina.
was playing baseball. Like they knew that I loved the baseball or whatever. And like there was like a glimmer of hope there. You know what I mean? Like so. Still,
What did it look like? A kind of like quote unquote normal
yeah,
situation?
it looked normal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You
yeah.
go, I meet these people. Like, of course, they're gonna have this facade on that everything's great, like
Yeah.
nothing's going on.
Are
And
there
shit.
kids there your age too? Or
Not kids my age. There was 3 kids there, and you know, I don't like. Still, the adults are trying to hide things from. Like they would view me as a kid still. You know what I mean? So I don't really know what was going on the back end there. I just know that there was talks of some things, you know what I mean? And, you know, it was just like, well, what do you think about like living down here? You know what I mean? And then, so
you think that
between,
was your stepdad's plan the whole time?
I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what the plan was. You know what I mean? Like I'm not even like I try not to delve into it too deep because like it'll drive me crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I just know that I just know that there was like chaos there. You know what I mean? And it was like to the extreme. You know, and you know, I remember like my mom like kind of like agreeing to that ordeal. So it's April. I was living with them in June. So April, May, June. Like I think it was like a month and a half later.
So
Or
did
two.
you finish sophomore year?
Yeah, I finished
Okay.
sophomore year at Roman, and then like my mom was like, yeah, and like, you know, looking back, it's like, why didn't you just let me live with my brother, or like, you know what I mean? Like, who you don't know what's gonna happen at
Yeah,
the
because
time.
I guess if you're around 15, 16, your brother's like 23, 24 at the time, right?
Yeah. So
Now, did your mom go with you guys to South Carolina?
no,
Or just
no,
you-
no, I wasn't even really living with my mom. I remember like it
That's
was
fucking nuts.
my sister had a softball game, and that's where I like the talk had come up to her about it, and you know, I'm down there and like I don't know anything about geographical change yet. You know what I mean? But for me, like I was so excited to like kind of have a fresh start.
Yeah, something new.
Yeah, because of like I was so tired of just trying to survive. You know what I mean? It's essentially what I felt like I was doing at that point. You know what I mean? And like besides, I think sports was my saving grace. Like that really is what kept me out of trouble. Like it gave me at that time purpose. You know what I mean? And you know, I was decent at it. So like, you know, it fueled the ego. So it made me feel good about myself and like, you know, that happens. And then I moved down there in June and, you know, I try out for like this like really prestigious like travel team, and I wind up making it. And I'm like, dude, like this is it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm here.
Like I thought, like,
I'm here.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, like it can't get any better than this. You know
Now
what
it's
I mean?
like instead of stealing the Mayfair chicks, let's steal some South Carolina
Yeah,
chicks.
yeah. And then like when you go down there, like everyone they like call you a Yankee still and shit like that because of your accent.
Yeah.
And but it was good. You know, I started school. They start early down there, so I think it was like in August, later August, you start. And anyhow, I was there for 7 months, and you know, the chaos ensued down there.
What do you mean by that?
Alcohol
With you or with the family you're staying
the
with?
family I'm staying with.
So at this point, like you're kind of like a, you know, I know your history is maybe
Yeah.
abnormal, but you yourself,
Yeah.
you're not like deep into anything at this
Nah,
point.
just weekend warrior shit
Yeah,
at this
yeah,
point. You know what I mean? And definitely like, you know what I mean, dabbled in some other things, but wasn't like a
Not
full
not taking over your life
yeah,
right now.
Yeah, not taking
Yeah.
over my life yet.
Right.
And you know, I remember like they were like let me like not that it's like abnormal to like drink at that age like because like you get curious and shit
Yeah.
like that, but like it was weird that like the family that I was living with, the chick that like had a serious alcohol problem was like pouring me drinks and shit. You know what I mean?
Like 16 years old.
Yeah. And you know,
This is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, and the only reason why I say that is like, so when I was in undergrad about 10, 12 years ago, I worked at a gym in Chestnut Hill. Now, like, that's only a half hour away. You know what I mean? But it's all rich people. It's like mainline people. And like, I would hear them talk about their family lives, and I'm like, that's insane. Like, yeah, we just went to Europe, or like, I just bought my daughter a $60,000 Audi. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm not saying I grew up like you, but it wasn't normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and you're like dealing with all this shit that has been chaos since like you're a little kid. It's like, what a recipe for fucking disaster. It's like, because you mentioned earlier, like God was looking down on you, and maybe so for you to have gotten to this point, but like, man, this journey right now is a little rough.
Yeah, it's
You
wild.
know?
Like I look back and I still can't believe that like there was a period of time in my life where I lived in South Carolina with 3 different families in like a 4-year span.
Wait, so 3 different houses too?
Yeah, 3 different
What the
houses.
fuck? In
Yeah.
7 months?
Yeah. So
what are they doing?
not in 7 months. So 7 months came. It was, you know, the my mom's ex-husband's family member that got jammed up. There was a lot of like legal shit going on. And at this point, dude, like I can't even explain the fear. You know what I mean? Like I have fucking zero trust in anybody that I'm like should kind of trust. You know what I mean? And I remember when all that happened, and I'm like, dude, I just got here. Like, I like just wanted to live like a normal life. You know what I mean? Like I just came down here. I wanted to like kind of continue to pursue like the opportunities that, you know, were being presented to me and stuff. And I had no clue what to do, you know, and one good, you know, trait or characteristic that I've always had is like not keeping my mouth shut. It's gotten me in trouble a lot of times in my life, but it's also been like a good thing for me as well, you know. And I remember like all this is going on, and like I had like midterms in high school at the time, so like half days, and you know, like the ex-husband like drives all the way down there, like doesn't like I got a cell phone and shit, like doesn't even tell me that he's coming. And I remember it was like a half day, and I like randomly get pulled out of like the lunchroom, and I get taken to this McDonald's. Like that's like there's like in the South at that time, I know they're like kind of building it up a little bit more now, but like there's like a McDonald's and like one corner store and like a bajillion fucking farms.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Who takes you to the McDonald's?
so it's the mom's ex-husband, his mom, and the other relative that's there. And you know, they all sit me down. It's a circle table, and I'm like eating, and they're like trying to like kind of force upon me. They're like, "Do you believe what's going on?" Because there's a lot more shit that I'm kind of like skipping out on, because it's like really, really fucked up shit. And I'm like, I don't trust none of you. You know what I mean? Like I have zero trust.
You actually said this to them?
Yeah, I said it to them, and you know, that was the worst thing I could have said. You know what I mean? But that's really how I felt. And I remember like I had my baseball bag and my school bag, and my shit got thrown out of the car. You know what I mean? I'm like picking up all this shit in McDonald's parking lot.
Jesus
They drive
Christ.
off. Like I start walking back.
So they just leave you.
Yeah. And then I start like grabbing my shit, walking back to school. And like I'm like walking on the side of this like fucking road, you know what I mean? And you know, they turn back around and they're like screaming at me from the car, like get in the fucking car, da 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 da. You know what I mean? And like, dude, when I'm telling you, like when you're like, I don't know, everybody experiences different things, and like, you know, that's one thing that I'll say, like no matter what my story, your story, or anybody else, everything that we relate upon is feelings and emotions.
That's 100.
So the feeling of fear that you felt at the lowest point, or the most fear, is the fear that I was feeling in that moment of time.
I understand.
You know what I mean? It's debilitating.
That's what combined. That's what connects us all.
Yeah. So
100%.
it's debilitating. You know what I mean? I didn't know what to do.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So anyhow, I get in the car. They drop me back off at school.
Are you scared at this point? Or
Yeah, I'm fucking scared out of my mind. I'm fucking staying. I just met this chick that like I'm like kind of dating. I'm staying at her house for a couple days. You know what I mean? Like nobody's like really wrapping their head around it. You know what I mean? I don't know what the next move is. Like,
so you have like no go-to adult in your life at this point.
like
Someone to
I'm
just
still,
bounce
like,
ideas off of.
Yeah, like I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I've like have my cell phone. Like I never lost contact with my brother and stuff.
Okay.
But like the situation's so fucking abnormal.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what to do. So at this moment in time, it's like, dude, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be adult, but it seems like you have to make some decisions for yourself. Like I probably should have listened to my brother. I probably should have listened, you know what I mean? Maybe to my uncle. Like, come back, we'll figure it out. And that just wasn't my main priority at that moment in time. You know, my main priority was to like survive, dude. You know what I mean? And like I said, like I was down there and I didn't want to leave. You know what I mean? And you know, all this shit's going on, and legally, like, you know, that relative has like legal guardianship over me at the time. So technically they have say over of what's kind of going on. But like I remember going back that day to school and like telling like a few of the teachers that I trusted, like, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do. And
They're probably like dumbfounded.
yeah,
like, is
they're
this
like,
for real?
like, dude, the South is, I will say it's way different. You know what I mean? They're still really ingrained on like, up here in the city is a rat race. You know, there's a lot more conniving crimes. It's all over the place. You know what I mean? I'm just saying down there's still like, you know, like Southern hospitality, like.
It seemed like they want to help.
Yeah, God, family, work, and like being
Gamecocks.
a good person. Yeah, Clemson or the Gamecocks. Like, that's it, you know? And, you know, I remember social services like came to the school the next day and they sat me down, and I was supposed to have a dentist appointment. I was supposed to get picked up that day. And they asked me the question, do you ever want to see these people again? And I said no, you know? And I had baseball practice that day, and I was a pitcher. And I remember asking the catcher, like, I just met this kid. You know what I mean? Like, would you think your family would be cool with me staying with you guys for a little bit? Like, thinking like you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like,
You don't
are they
know.
cool? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the future holds, but are they cool with me staying for a while?
Yeah.
You know? And then, you know, the social services got involved and made sure, like, they came out and, like, made sure everything was cool.
So that's where you went.
Yeah, I went with that family.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm living with the kid off the baseball team. I'm, like, a year older than him. So he's, like, he might be a sophomore, and I'm a junior, or he might be a I forget exactly what it was. And, you know, but the thing is me, like, being, like, so hurt and so scared and so, like, I was a tornado in everybody's life. You know what I mean? And manipulation, like, I just wasn't a good person. Like, I tried being a great person.
You're
but
fucking dying inside,
Yeah,
dude. Like, you don't know
yeah.
how to get out. Exactly. Your emotions are all clogged the fuck up. I got to ask you, like, so you're with the step dad's family, and now you end up with the catcher's family.
Yeah.
Where's your mom at? Like, are you guys? Do you have no communication?
Nah, dude. I mean, there's very little communication.
So you don't even call her and say like, "Yo, I'm fucked up right now." Like, you don't even.
Well, I just don't trust her either
okay.
at that time. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even that.
Not even an
That's not
option.
even like my first thought to be like, call
Yeah.
your mom and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there was just so many deep harbored resentments and like shit from like it's still fresh. You know what I mean? I'm only down there for 7 months. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like I didn't know what to do. That was like, to me, that was my best option, was to like fuck everybody and figure this out by yourself. And when I meant fuck everybody, essentially it was like my family, you know what I mean? Dynamic that was up here, you know what I mean? And like, I thought it was just like all bad for me, you know? So, yeah.
So with the catcher,
Yeah, I'm living with his family and
they're cool. They're nice people.
dude, fuck. This is why I started crying that day I was sharing is
Yeah, because you got into it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously this is longer, and there's no question and answer when you share. But
it's just so my amends process, this family's on it, and I couldn't have done what they did for me. You know what I mean? Like a 15, 16-year-old kid, whatever the case is, you'd know from nothing. He's not from your state.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? They just wanted to give me a shot at a good life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Like I didn't think of it I didn't even think about that until I got sober, honestly, because
when
it was
you say
all
the
about
amends
me.
process, did you do something that you needed to make amends for?
Yeah, dude. I completely destroyed their family. Yeah. Yeah.
You want to how so?
Yeah. Like as time like progressed, you know, like I thought it was always about Stan. You know what I mean? At that point, it wasn't about anybody else but making sure Stan was okay. You know what I mean? And like my main priorities were girls, baseball, and trying to do decent in school. You know what I mean?
Solid.
And,
Yeah. Solid
you know what I
priorities.
mean?
Yeah.
And number one was women. You know what I mean? Like even at that age, because it was anything to get outside of myself.
Yeah, and you're the new kid in town. You're good at sports, and you know it probably was a good.
It was a great experience. You know what I mean?
And we're just being realistic. It probably was fun. It probably made you feel better.
It did. It
Yeah.
did. At that time, it did. But, you know, I wasn't an angel. Let's just say that, you know. And, you know, the first girl that I was with, like...
Was the catcher's sister? No.
Nah. It was the chick I was staying with for a little bit. And the same thing, like when all that's going on, their families let me stay at their house and stuff. And if I don't get what I want, like I will fucking cut you with my tongue and destroy you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I did to that girl. You know what I mean? And her father was ready to kill me. You know what I mean? Just like pure chaos. Like everything, it was the only thing I knew. You know what I mean? Like I try to give myself some grace, but at that time that was like the only thing like that I knew how to do and like how to live, and I didn't know how to handle life on life's terms.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to be a man of integrity. You know what I mean? And it was
Well, you're
just like,
programmed. You've been programmed to be this person.
yeah.
For the 15, 16 years that you've been alive at this point. It's like, and I not that what I would equate it to adopting a dog, but we had to put a dog down a few months ago. He was in a shelter for 2 years. Before that, he was tied to a pole. Dog was sick. He was programmed to fucking kill. And we tried to save him and it didn't work. But like, I'm not making light of the situation, but you're only acting the way you've learned how to act.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and the thing that sucked was as I was deeply ingrained with like good morals, like at a young age, you know what I mean? So like I knew what I was doing was wrong. You know what I mean? Even like it's like getting fucked up and shit. It's like I always had the greatest intentions, but my actions never followed any of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So with the morals,
even
like,
without the drink, you know what I mean? That's how I'm living.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, like I'm still kind of like trying to find my way and stuff, but like I don't remember my first drunk. I really don't, but I remember the euphoria that comes with it. Yeah, so that's what I associate it. You know what I mean? Like being up in the woods in Philadelphia with, you know. But yeah, so I'm living with that family for a while, and you know, people wanted to be like parents and give me authority and like give me good direction.
Try to help you.
and I didn't want to fucking hear any of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my greatest, like when I wasn't getting what I wanted out of that relationship from that family, which was I wanted to be a grown ass man and I wanted to live in your house and not respect you. Like, I remember I was doing fucking chewing tobacco, bro. I had 1,500 water bottles just filled with spit and shit. And the mom was furious.
Of course.
Yeah, she walked into the room like she was upset. And I was like,
You should have said something when there was half the amount of bottles in here.
you know, and I was just living like a fucking pig, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I didn't have any respect for them. You know what I mean? I tried to give them respect. I didn't have respect for myself, and I didn't love myself, so I couldn't give that to anybody else.
How long they put up with this? For?
Well, they wanted to put up with it, you know what I mean? Like, they were really...
They were all in.
Yeah, they were all in. They were
all
trying
in.
their hardest, but it was me. Like, my greatest idea was like, so...
Now, was the dude your friend at this
Yeah,
point? Like,
dude,
you guys are boys,
yeah,
right?
we're boys. Like,
Yeah.
we're like best friends. Like, you know what I mean? Love them to death. Like, you know, we'll talk occasionally and stuff.
Right.
But I remember, like, it's so hard. There's so much shit that happens. But something happened. I forget exactly what was said. I didn't like what was said, and I didn't want to hear it. And I think they were just trying to like.
They told you to clean your room.
They wanted to discipline me essentially, and I didn't want to hear it. So what I did was there was another kid on the baseball team that was a little bit older. He was more my age, and I manipulated him. You know what I mean? And he manipulated his family, and it was like a Sunday night. And my greatest idea is to run. When anything gets hard in my life, I run. So I remember telling the first like foster family, like, you know, like I think I'm 17 at this point, so they know I'm like getting closer to 18. You know what I mean? And I packed my shit in black trash bags that night and left.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Were they there? They saw you
Yeah,
bounce?
they did that. Dude, I'll never forget. The mom fucking was bawling her eyes out in pain. You know what I mean?
So when you say foster family, they like because social services got involved, they were an official foster family for you because you're not 18, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. And you know, and I go with the other family, and I remember like senior night was coming and stuff, and like you come out with like a parent or whatever, and you know, there was just so much pain that I caused to that family because there's 3 kids there. The kid that I'm friends with, you know, his 2 younger siblings and a mom and a dad. You know what I mean? And yeah, like that's why I say I couldn't do what they did because I'd want to kill me.
Yeah,
you know what I
sure,
mean?
yeah.
Like if I'm that father, and like they spent, you know, resources on me, which is money and time. You know what I mean? To continue to let me play baseball and try to be a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
That's tough.
yeah, yeah.
That's
so I
tough.
manipulate my way into this other kid's family, and you know, the dad's an Air Force pilot that like flew in Afghanistan and shit. He's got this office with like all these accolades and medals and shit. And this dude's like, he's this.
Yeah, he's by the
never
book.
had that in my life.
Yeah, by the
you know what I
book.
mean? And same thing, dude.
Breakfast 0800, brother.
Yeah. Same thing though, dude. Like, you know, there's something about me that is very loving that I think people like. And
Well, you said you have the morals, right?
Yeah,
You-
yeah.
like deep-rooted morals in
Yeah.
you, which to me probably means when you fuck up, you feel all the guilt and the shame because you know it's wrong.
yeah, but I also at that time too is I know how to get over on you and I know how to get what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I use that to my advantage, and this is where the woe is me kicks in. Poor Stan. This is what he's going.
You have no
through.
idea what it's like to be
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I lived by for so long. You know, and at this time, like, you know, I am drinking. You know what I mean? I am like starting to do like a couple other things. Like,
What's big down there? Is it just the same everywhere?
what's that?
Like, you know,
Drugs and
like,
alcohol, you mean?
Perks are huge in here in Philly. Heroin, like, is it similar
it's
around?
the same anywhere.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
okay.
Like, you want to get high, you can get high anywhere. You can be in fucking Alaska and in
Yeah, you'll
fucking
find
middle
it.
of ice, you're going to find
Yeah,
it. You know
there's
what I
definitely
mean?
guys like us too. You'll find it.
Yeah. So, it really, for me, like, started off with, like, Adderalls. Like, I was taking Adderalls all crazy, like, when I was playing baseball and stuff. And, you know, drinking. And I found some other things. And it was really, like, smoking weed, too. Like, at the time, like, I thought that was, like, the greatest thing on earth. You know what I mean? And, you know, God rest this kid's soul, Clay, man. I would, like, you know, fucking one of the greatest dudes ever. He passed away. I think he was like 21 or something. But he was like a nerdy dude. You know what I mean? Didn't play sports. Like I don't even like we just like hung out one time and like
Clicked.
Yeah. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that's weird like in high school because usually when you're like a jock, you're an asshole. You know what I mean? You like just the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole vibe.
The whole
The whole
you know what I
vibe.
mean? But anyhow, yeah, me and him and but like yeah. So
Well,
I started.
how did he pass away?
Dude, I don't even know. That was a sad thing. Like I just on Facebook, like so. I'll get to it in a
Yeah.
little bit, and like when the story goes on. But anyhow, so it's my. I think it was my junior year, like going back to baseball and stuff. I'm playing the travel ball. I had I had a few scholarships to go to a couple different schools, and so I wind up signing to Florence Darlington Tech. I think it was Virginia Military Institute, the school in Big Springs, Texas, and Florence Darlington Tech. And you know, my
This
last
is like full ride for baseball type
yeah,
shit? Wow.
yeah. And dude, I wish I wasn't so feared up and I like believed in myself more. You know what I mean? Because like I fucking like it's one of my biggest regrets not pursuing that. But anyhow, this is like you know like I realized that the like drugs and alcohol at this point are like slowly like taking me away
Yeah,
from
becoming the main priority.
yeah and you know it's like you know my junior year I signed to go play ball and then I'm dating this chick and this other chick and you know like everybody's talking in the town. It's a small town. They're like, watch out for him. You know what I mean? Watch out for that kid.
Yeah, they know
He's
about
a
you.
problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And her dad he still coaches in the major leagues. He coaches for the Detroit Tigers right now.
shit.
But at the time he was coaching for the Red Sox. And you know, I'll never forget it. I got to go down to spring training with the Boston Red Sox.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I'm hanging out
With
in the
this girl and
clubhouse.
her dad.
Well, yeah, well, with her dad. Like he takes me into the clubhouse, and I'll never forget it. Shane Victorino got traded from the Phillies at this time, and I met Shane Victorino. He just comes out of the shower in the towel and shit, and I'm in the locker room, and I'm
Holy
like,
shit.
yeah, I'm chilling with Shane Victorino, and I thought, dude, like I really thought I was playing baseball for the rest of my life. Delusional as fuck. Yeah, I mean, I was a decent ball player, but like,
Yeah.
you know, what I mean, not like these guys, like,
Yeah.
you know, but like. You know, they were just trying to give me like that's another thing. Like this chick's flying me. Like I get flown to Florida to hang out with them. Like I went to New York with them and then to LA and shit. And like all these people just dude, all they want is to give me this good life.
Yeah,
like,
here, we're showing you the way, bro.
Yeah, like this is you know, this is like what you could have and like you know what I mean? Not that they were saying that, but like just like great people that like, you know, there is a side of me at that time that is like very loving and nurturing and like people see my potential, but I don't see it in myself yet.
Yeah.
You know, and anyhow, I'm down there and you know, like because of drugs and alcohol and all my character defects, like just another relationship that I burned to the ground. You know? And like how crazy my head is and shit like that. Like knowing that I burnt that bridge, like I was like, everyone in the baseball industry is gonna know what a piece of shit I am. No, for real, like that's really where my head took me. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't even think I should pursue baseball anymore. You know, at this point, like drugs and alcohol aren't taking away what's going on upstairs for me. And you know, it's my senior year, my last like game that I ever played baseball that was like super competitive was in Jupiter, Florida. Made to the Sweet 16. It's perfect game. Perfect games like this, the biggest baseball like tournament that you can be in
At that age.
Yeah,
right?
there's like 175 scouts between major leagues and colleges
you're there
and stuff.
playing.
I'm there playing, you know, and my head's out of it. You know what I mean? And you know, like I just remember at that moment in time, it's like, I'm not going to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. And because I believed all the lies. That's what happened. At that moment in time, I believed all the lies, you know? And so anyhow, that gets done. I'm supposed to play baseball over the summer and shit. And, you know, the buddy that I'm living with now, like I think he was going to Wofford College to play football for them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I wind up manipulating my way into going to, it was like York Technical College, it was called. And, you know,
To play baseball there?
nah,
Just to go.
just to appease, just so I could continue to live in that house.
Got it.
Yeah, that's
Got
the
it.
only reason I
Yeah.
did that. This was like the moment in time, drugs and alcohol.
That's some big manipulation right
Yeah,
there. I'll
yeah.
go just so I can stay, motherfucker.
Yeah, drugs and alcohol stopped working. You know what I mean? You know, he goes to college, and I'm so lost, dude. Like, I don't even know who I am anymore, you know, and anytime to drugs and alcohol like that, like, I deal with a lot of mental health shit, so, like, you know, like, the path is getting darker and darker, you know what I mean? So the first semester goes by, and I'll never, again, completely disappoint the family that I'm living with. And the kid was going to Winthrop. He went to Winthrop for the first semester and then transferred over to Wofford. So when he was going to transfer to Wofford, it was like shit or get off the pot for me. And like I said, like my greatest thing is like, what do I do now? You know what I mean? Like, and you know, it's been a couple years, and you know, like I graduated from high school. My brother and my uncle came down, and I had just seen him. I hadn't seen him in a while. And I was like, dude, like my brother's my best friend, dude.
Yeah, he's the
always
man.
has been. You know what I mean?
Is he
Like,
one of us or regular?
nah,
regular dude?
fucking like the greatest dude ever. You know what I mean? Never, you know, had an issue or whatever. Like did all the right things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but that you know what I mean, that you know what I mean, the crossroads came again, and you know, I was like, I called him up and I'm like, dude, can I come home and live with you? You know, he lives in PA, and he drove all the way down there. You know what I mean? And you know, he's like, I remember, so he comes down, picks me up, got all my stuff. We're driving back. And you know, you hear in the rooms a lot when you first come in, like dudes feel like little boys or whatever. But I'll never forget, he was like, you're either going to get a job or you're going to go back to school, essentially. You know what I mean? That was like my two options. Like, and at this point, I'm like 18, I think, 18 or 19. And, dude,
You lived a life,
I
bro,
felt
already.
like fucking like, I felt like 11-year-old kid. I stopped growing at like 11 years old, like emotionally, man. So when he said that, I'm like, you know, he's looking at me, you know what I mean? He sees a fucking, essentially an adult now, you know what I mean? And I'm like nowhere near being that. So we come up, I'm like staying on his couch for a while, and I finally got a job in Center City, and then you know what I mean, like this is like where drugs and alcohol like
Start taking over.
yeah, it's like full blown, you know what I mean? I get the job. I think the only reason I kept that job
You're
for a
back
year.
in PA at this point,
Yeah, I'm
right?
in PA. I got a job down Center City, and I wind up like, you know, I get paid on Friday. My money's literally like, people say Saturday. I think all my money was gone by like 10, 11 o'clock on Friday. Yeah, Friday night. So like I'm stuck down in the city because I don't have money to catch the train home to my brother's. You know what I mean? And like, that lasted for a year, and I'm essentially just staying at this dude's house in West Philly. Like, what the fuck? Like, you were just living in South Carolina, now you're stuck in West Philly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that probably fucks with you when you have like your moments of clarity. Like, what the fuck did I just do?
Like I'm like waking up off the floor, like, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I mean? And yeah, I think it was October 3rd of 2017. I think I was 20. I think I was 20 years old at this point. Worked from like 19 to 20. Drugs and alcohol, fucking completely done. You know what I mean? And completely lost. You know what I mean? I'm lost, like, internally. You know what I mean? Like, I feel weird kind of being around my family because I was gone for all them years, really. Like, I feel kind of left out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like family. And that's not them. They're still very loving to me. It's just my own internal shit. You know, and, you know, I'm like starting to realize like everything that I just threw away, like school wise, and like, you know what I mean, the reality setting in that like you're not an athlete anymore. Not that you're a nobody, but you're an adult now, and like that time has passed.
Well, yeah, all the shit that could have been, is like it's not there anymore.
It's gone. You know.
Yeah, that's
and
tough.
Dude, like I couldn't even watch baseball, anything. But October,
Disgusted, right?
Yeah, disgusted, like sick to my stomach. You know, And but it was October 3rd, 2017. I remember I finally, it was like I knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? I was going up to my brother's house. I was grabbing a couple things, and you know, even my bro, like my brother's a cop. He's like, don't bring any drugs in my house. And I remember one time I brought drugs in his house. Of
course, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And he was like super upset. And that was like one dude that like, I always felt bad when I disappointed people, but like
He was the
him
guy.
especially, fucking, it destroyed me inside, you know? And I really, even at this point, I don't think I have a problem with drugs and alcohol. I just truly think I'm a mental defect. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the solution is for that. You know what I mean? Because I was always told friends is where the goofy people go my whole life growing up. You know what I mean? That's for crazy people and shit. And
So you're torn. You don't even know how to fix your, like, none of us do it at the start, how to fix our problem.
yeah, like I'm just like, so the best plan is like, I really thought the solution was killing myself.
Really?
Yeah. So, you know, this is like the first, no, I don't want to say the first. I know God's been intervening my whole life. And like, you know, if I could really look back, there's a lot of things or situations that he saved me. Well, like this day was like only now that I can look back on it and say it and stuff. But like, I got fucking obliterated, you know what I mean? Out of my mind and told my family I loved them and shit. And I hung myself in the closet. And so this is like divine intervention, whatever. My brother's on a detail, right? And like he'll even tell this story too, like if I brought him here. But like a sergeant came up to him and just told him he could leave early that day. And like essentially if none of that transpired, he doesn't find, like if he finds me 5 minutes later, like I'm like gone, really gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at this point, like I was like really fucked up. You know what I mean? I was out when he found me and shit. And you know, I remember like coming to and I was pissed, dude. I was like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like even like everybody's in the emergency room, like fucking like they're fucked up from what I just did.
And you're
you know
mad
what I
you're
mean?
alive.
And I'm fucking mad that I'm alive.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
You're
fuck,
such,
I
you're
got to
such
do
a young
this.
guy, dude, at this point.
I was 20 years old.
That's
yeah.
a young guy, man.
Yeah, yeah. But like, I felt like I lived a million lives, bro.
You have.
You know
you
what I
have.
mean?
It's, you should write a fucking book, dude. It's crazy what you've been through.
Yeah, so.
That's why it's beautiful that you're here. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. But that's like that's what I mean. Like when drugs and alcohol stop working for me, that's where it leads me to. But I don't know that until I come into AA, do the work, whatever. So I remember I get put away for a while. But like I remember, dude, my mom took this picture of me because she came to the hospital. And I remember she showed it to me like afterwards. And like I'm like my face is kind of grayish, yellowish, and my neck is just black and blue from like being hung. And like I had no feelings or emotions towards it. You know what I mean?
So you don't
like,
see the God moment at all with your brother coming to save your life at this point?
At that point, I don't see it. You know what I mean? I just...
How crazy is that?
It's wild. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's like you can't explain that to a regular person and they're like, you know, is it odd or is it God? Like
That's
to
God
me, it's
all
God.
day,
Yeah. You know what I
dude.
mean? It's wild. You know, like... And so I'm away, and like my grandmother's sober a long time at this point, and she knows what the deal is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I still think that I'm just a mental defect. I just need some fucking...
You're unique.
I think I'm unique, but I just need a little Zoloft and Seroquel, and I'm cool.
Yep.
I could still drink. I could still do it. You know what I mean? But I don't know what I don't know until I know it. You know what I mean?
That's it.
So... I'm away, and my grandma's like, I think you should go to a meeting with me when you get out of here. And I'm in so much pain, dude. Like all these feelings and emotions. I'm sober for like 14 days. You know what I mean? And like
a
all this
whirlwind.
shit. Yeah, it's so much, you know. And I get out, and my first meeting was a Friday night over on Academy in Linden, Livingren.
Yeah. I've been there.
It was a Friday night,
Yep.
and you know, I remember raising my hand. I'm like, staying alcoholic, and I didn't believe the second part of that. But I was in so much pain that I'm willing to do whatever. You know what I mean? And like,
Change the situation a
yeah,
little
change
bit.
the situation. I remember throwing up on the floor. I'm crying, and like it felt so good. And not a half hour later, I'm outside. I'm 20 years old still, getting ready to turn 21. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with all these old heads on a Friday night After I just shared and I felt so good and shit like that, I compared myself right out.
How quickly that happens.
Yeah, it was like a half hour later, but I hung around for a little bit, only for the sheer fact that I was living at my grandmother's house. You know what I mean? And she was like trying to set some standards for me. You know what I mean? And in my head, like I'm a grown ass man, I know everything.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I
meanwhile,
mean?
grandma knows the whole deal.
Yeah,
The whole deal.
Yeah,
She knows what you're gonna do before you even do it.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, I put a little weight on, got the clothes and everything, turned 21 in the rooms and got super squirrely. You know, and what I've noticed now is like, you know, before, like my greatest thing is like to like take women hostage. So I find a girl, you know what I mean? She's 6, 7 years older than me. You know what I mean? She's got some stuff together. She just buys her own house. And like in my head, like I hit the lottery.
Yeah, let's see how I can fuck this up.
Yeah, yeah. Again, still like even after that short stint and stuff, I'm so grateful that that seed was planted though. You know what I mean? And that like I have my grandmother in my life.
Because you are putting some time together at this point, right?
Yeah, I think I might have put like 6 months together,
Okay.
you know, and then you
me a
know,
little
I'm
taste.
21 and I'm like, dude, like what the fuck am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like you haven't lived yet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You spent your whole life surviving, you deserve to fucking
Yeah, you got more
destroy
time.
your life.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. It's gonna be better.
Yeah. And you know, fuck dude, like even that girl, like, you know what I mean, like completely burned it. And you know what I mean, like would love to be able to make amends to her someday, but just feel so bad what I do to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I don't ever really want to do the shit that I'm doing.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. I mean, you met my wife when you came in, dude, and
Yeah.
like we joked around about, I forget something that we said about doing drugs, and like, yeah, I think I actively tried to burn her life to the fucking ground,
Yeah.
dude. So I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. Previous relationships, man, all they want to do is love you and help you.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just see how how fucked up we can make this. I get it. It's terrible, but you don't do it on purpose. That's what I feel like. You know, it's like your brain is just mush. My brain was mush. You know what I mean? I didn't want to hurt the people that I hurt. You know, you just don't know how to. You don't know how to stop. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
I took her the first date I went on with her, I relapsed.
That's what happened with my wife. 90 days sober. I take her down to Alvez, Mexican
Okay.
spot in the city.
Okay.
And now I'm a drug addict.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm 90 days sober, and I'm like, I could drink.
Yeah.
And then
That's exactly. We went somewhere in Manayunk. It was a Mexican. Actually, I'm lying. It was some bar in the corner, but yeah, just completely fucking insanity, dude. You know, and she had no clue what she was signing up for.
Nah.
You know, and all the I nevers, you know what I mean, started coming true, and I went on 3.5 years, and completely destroyed her life, and you know. The drugs and alcohol aren't working again. Fucking gambling. Fucking. All she wanted from me was to fucking help her out a little bit. You know what I mean? That's all she asked for. You know what I mean? And
so you guys, you're living with her at this
yeah,
point?
I'm living with her, and she just wanted me to help a little bit with the bills, and like it was all about Stan. You know what I mean? How much can Stan gamble? How high can Stan get? And how much like can I drink? You know what I mean? And when it came down to it, and she was done. It was poor Stan, you know what I mean? Poor me, you know what I mean? Because I cheated. I didn't physically cheat with another woman, but like I remember she woke me up because she would pay the bills on the laptop, and my phone was hooked up to it, and just like you know, she was fucking infuriated.
Yeah, just being sneaky and grimy.
Yeah, being sneaky and grimy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what being a fucking scumbag, and you know, yeah. And then when that came to a head, you know what I mean? Like, it's like my I feel poor, dude. I feel bad for my brother, but like always, you know what I mean? Whenever I'm in a jam or something, like he's the first person I'm calling and
Yeah.
shit. He's got to hear me fucking cry and bitch and complain.
right.
And not once was he ever like, you're the asshole piece of. He just loved me for who I was.
Yeah,
man.
he just
You know
wanted to
what I
see you
mean?
do good.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, so
And he
those
knows you
two-
have it in you the whole time. That's probably, you know, I can't assume, but that's might be where a lot of his love comes from. Like, yeah, I know you got this, bro. Come on.
Yeah, and then so you know, this is like the last little run here is like, you know, that comes to a head. I'm living with my brother, you know, after getting out of this relationship, and he's like trying to get me on my feet again and do the right things, and you know, I'm like jumping around, dude. Fucking, I've moved 1,000,000 times, so. My brother works. I hate being by myself too. Like still to this day, excuse me, I'm so uncomfortable in my own skin. Like I'm working on it, but like I've realized that I do not like being alone. You know, and so I've realized my brother works. He works like a normal person and
Yeah.
goes to work every day. And I'm the scumbag that sits on the couch. And but anyhow, I wind up like, I asked my grandma, can I move in with her? She's like, nope.
No way.
And I was like, you motherfucker. I was so resentful. We laugh about it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I was like, I can't believe you would say no to your grandson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she'll laugh and stuff. It wasn't funny at the time, but
That's the beauty of AA, ain't it, dude? The most horrible things that you've been through, like you laugh about it now. Like my grandfather would say, it's funny, but it ain't.
yeah. But she knew. She's the only one that knew what was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, dude, she don't play around. You know what I mean? She does not fucking play around. And I remember, again, in so much pain, dude, like the drugs and alcohol aren't working anymore. But this time I knew that there was help. You know what I mean? So I remember another like God moment for me. Like people are like, I don't know what people believe in, but like I see a cardinal and shit, I think of my grandfather. You know what I mean? And I remember I was sitting out on the back porch of my grandma's house and like tears and shit, and a fucking cardinal.
You mentioned this,
Yeah,
yeah.
a cardinal landed on the fence. And I was like, all right. You know what I mean? That was my sign. Like, why don't you try to go get some help? And initially, the only reason I did it again was to manipulate it. Like, I thought I was getting the girl back. You know what I mean? I thought I was going to get all these things back if I went away and got the help that I needed. And I remember calling her from the phone. You know what I mean? And like trying to talk to her. She didn't want to hear it.
So,
She was done. She was done
The
way
switch
before.
was off, brother.
Yeah, the switch was off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, I'm there, and I remember getting out, and I felt worse when I got out than when I got in.
Really?
Yeah. And then, so I went like on like, I think I stayed clean for a little bit, and then like I'm living over my uncle's house and shit, and my uncle's like he's sober a while, and
Man, so you got all these people that are so like your brother's just a good human.
Yeah.
Grandmom's sober. Grandfather was sober. Uncle's sober. Okay.
I have 3 uncles that are like sober long periods of time.
Yeah.
And I'm living with him, and like, he knows like idle time is the devil's. You know what I mean? So he's always trying to keep me busy. And you know what I mean? I remember I had like a younger cousin there, and they like have like this bar set up there, and I snuck in there during the party, and I started drinking with them. You know what I mean? And even my grandmother would tell her, she said it would break her heart, but like so all that whole like summer was leading up to my cousin's wedding. So I was like helping, like it was like during COVID and shit. So it was like a weird time. But, my uncle was prepping his house up to like get ready for this wedding. So I helped him. And, dude, I could not wait for the day of the wedding because I knew I was going to fucking do what I was going to do.
Yeah,
you know
you fly under the radar on that day.
Yeah. So my family like feels bad, you know what I mean? Like I just went away. I'm living with my uncle. Like I'm sneaking in during the parties and shit. And, the wedding comes, fucking my grandmother's devastated because she sees me fucking annihilated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody's having a good time, and I'm the jerk off that everyone thinks is dead on the fucking chair up in the hotel room. You know what I mean? Like he's my younger cousin and shit like that. Like he's calling other people, like, you know what I mean? Doesn't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Just because, you know what I mean? Like just like that's how I drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not to stay up and have a good time.
No,
it's to
all
fucking be
in.
down.
Yeah.
How down can we go? You know? And the wedding's over, and it's like, what is Stan gonna do now? You know what I mean? And they were going away for a weekend, and my uncle was like, you should just like go to your mom's house for the weekend because we're not gonna be here. And like there was like a 2-week span. I was telling him I was going to see my dad, like, cause like, you know what I mean? I started reaching out to my dad as I got like probably a couple of years ago to like try to like, I wanted answers, you know what I mean? From my childhood or whatever. And I told him I was visiting him. And at this point again, dude, like I thought I'd never, want to commit suicide again. But like, I'm like, let's see, if I can buy a gun. So I'm over here, I drive on Tarsdale Ave, and like I walk in and I fucking walked out with a gun 5 minutes later.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to make sure that this time when I do it, that it's done.
It's for real.
Yeah, this is real this time.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Dude.
I think I'm 22 22 at this point. It's like August. I don't know the year, but I'm 22. It's like August or whatever. And, you know, there was like maybe like a month span between when I went away for 2 weeks, came back, I'm back for a month, the wedding happens, and, you know, it's just not cutting it anymore. Just that short span, like that short, like it just does not, yeah, it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fuck, I can't shut off this fucking head, you know, and, another God moment for me, man. Like I remember, my dad gives me this little Chevy S10. You know what I mean? He had just given it to me, and like, you know what I mean? I get my shit, you know what I mean, what I want to do, and like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fucking blow my brains out. I was that summer, like I was fishing at this spot. I'd be like, this is a great place to go. And remember I'm all fucked up, and you know, this is like such a God moment for me, man, because like I'm sitting in the truck, I'm like, I'm fucked up, but like I'm like still like I'm like still kind of there. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like completely like gone. Like I'm like in that in between stage, and that's why I call it a God moment. I'm
So you
like,
still know when you say you're not.
I'm
gone,
like
you're about to be blacked out,
yeah,
but not.
I'm like 10 minutes away from like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being like I'm
Having
like
no control.
Yeah, no control.
Yeah.
And you know, I stick the gun in my mouth, and for the first time in my life, you know, I thought about somebody other than myself, and that was my 2 nieces. And the thought just is like, if you do this, you're gonna miss out on everything, you know, that like life has to offer for them. And I was like, and the next thought is like, I'm probably willing to suffer all this crazy shit that goes on in my head just to stick around for those 2, you know. And you know, the next day came, and I asked for help again.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's nuts. And I
can't imagine what you were feeling,
dude.
Like,
it's just pain. That's all it is, dude.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, immense pain.
It's just crazy to think, like, you know what I mean? I get why people do it, because they ultimately feel like that's the only solution. And now that I know that it's not the answer, you know what I mean? Like, because you could be, I know people in sobriety that, you know what I mean, have done that too, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah,
you know
it
what
just
I mean?
happened recently.
Yeah. And that one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking great dude. You
Great
know what I mean?
dude.
Like,
Very fucking great dude.
he was the only dude like that probably loved hip hop as much as I did.
Yeah, he was all in on that
Yeah.
shit, dude.
Yeah, he was
my
like-
buddy Weber that I was telling you about before. They were buddies.
Yeah.
Like same type of person.
Yeah,
Like,
there was like hours we spent outside of Morel just going through like old hip hop,
yeah,
dude. You
he
know
was a
what I
cool
mean?
dude, man.
And but it's just, yeah, you know what I mean? It's just pain, and like I ask for help, I go away, I get help, and I never think, I'm like, this is it, I'm done, I'm never doing this shit again. And like my family's like, we'll come and pick you up. You know what I mean? We'll come and pick you up. And I'm like, nah, my friends will do it. You know what I mean? My friends got me. And I remember,
Still bucking the system.
yeah. And this was the last time. And like, you know, my grandma finally said yes to let me live with her. Cause she knew that I was like trying to do the right things. You know what I mean? She's like, you know, do this, da. And, so I'm like 23. I'm getting ready to turn 23. So sorry, I'm lying to you. I am 23. And, I walk out and I get high. As soon as I walk out, I get high. And they drop me off at my grandma's house, and I'm sitting upstairs. And I'm staring at the ceiling fan. I'm 23 years old. And I'm like, this is it, dude. This is life. Like, you're a piece of shit. You're never going to do anything good. You know what I mean? And like, just another foxhole prayer. Like, God, like, if you want anything from me, dude, like, I know this is fucking bullshit, but like, I'll throw another one of these at you. You know what I mean? No belief in God or no faith. But like, if there's something, dude, I'll do whatever. You know what I mean? And my grandma will tell you, I didn't get honest about that until I celebrated my year sober. I told her I got high that first night.
Oh, so she didn't know.
She didn't know. She's like, you're lucky. She's like, because she was downstairs, like she has like a split level.
Yeah.
And I made sure to avoid her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
So at 11 months, she thinks you got a year.
Yeah. So I would like at first like I lied about the date and like the year was coming up and stuff, and I got honest about it. And
That probably felt good.
It did.
Yeah.
It did, and that was like one of the best amends. Not, I mean, getting honest about that situation, but the amends with her was like unreal, dude. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's like, I would have kicked your ass out if I would have known that. And who knows, you know what I
Where'd you
mean?
be?
What the trajectory would have been. But like, you know,
Yeah.
it's in the middle of COVID. So that's a Thursday. It's Friday night. It's like a Friday. And like, I forget what I was doing because it's October 30th of 2020 is my sober date. And like when I say she does not play around, bro, like it's Friday night. She's like, you're going to sit at this table if you want to live at this house, and you're going to stay on this meeting with me, you know, and they, you know, they give the phone list out at meetings and shit. After the meeting's done, she makes me share, et cetera, et cetera. And then she's like, every guy on this phone, you're going to stay on this phone, and I'm going to get a list from my grandson. You know what I mean? So I'm writing down all these numbers one by one over the
Super
phone.
awkward.
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, dude. And then I wake up Saturday and she's like, you're going to call everybody on that list. And I'm like, you got to be fun. I'm a grown ass man. You know what I mean? I'm 23 years old. You know what I mean? And, but I did it. I did it. And, you know, for some, like, not odd reason, but like, you know, I don't know if everybody's working. There was probably like 5 guys that were on that list. It was like a smaller meeting over the phone. And one dude answers. He takes me to a meeting that night. That's Saturday. He's got his own company. I'm working by Monday. So like 3 or 4 days sober. I have a job. And then he's like, we're going to go up to this spiritual retreat. I think you should come with us.
Malvern?
Yeah. I'm 7 days sober,
Wow.
7 or 8 days sober up at Malvern.
Yeah.
And like even my brother, dude, like he has lifelong friends, like lifelong best friends. And like for some reason I always desired that. You know what I mean? Like I always wanted that. You know, and not that there isn't like 1 or 2 dudes, but like he's got like a group of dudes that have just been like
His
fucking,
brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I remember going to Malvern and this dude had recently passed, and there was probably like 15 or 20 dudes that were all friends with him, and they all buried him up at the grotto. And I took the picture. They were like, can you take a picture of us? You know what I mean? And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's
I mean?
powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
But the dude was like, he's like, I'm going to tell you this. This is like the first time in my life I'm starting to listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm so beaten down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like,
Just got to get out of the way.
yeah. He's like, I suggest you go to confession. I suggest you show up to all this shit. I'm like, confession, dog. Like, I resent priest. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing personal happened to me, but like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, just
That's
like
what's
this whirlwind of shit. That's like all.
That's just how you feel in that moment. Yeah.
He's like, just do it. So I did it and fucking felt like a ton of bricks was off my chest. You know what I mean? And just took all the suggestions while I was up there. And
What a great like start to lay a foundation,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
crazy.
seriously, that's like I haven't been yet, but like the Malvern experience from what I hear, and that's you're a week in and you go, what a great fucking foundation.
Yeah,
dude. What a
I
great
highly
start.
suggest it to
Yeah.
anybody, dude. And yeah, so that happens, and then that was like a weekend ordeal, and I'm still unsure about being sober. You know what I mean? Like I come back from the retreat. I'm like, I'm working and shit, bro. Like, I never really worked. You know what I mean? Even when I was working, like, for that short stint of a year, like, the only reason I kept that job is because of the supervisor. Like, this dude, he fucking just looked out for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was. He just, like, I remember I was nodded out. I had a desk at the window and shit. I was, like, I was there early, but, like, I didn't start until 3 hours later because I was sleeping on my desk. You know what I mean? He was like, bro, I think you need to get up and start doing a little work.
Yeah,
You know what I
can
mean?
you move
I
a
was
little
like,
bit?
Yeah. I was like, all right. So, like, that's how that relationship went. But, you know, so it was, my first meeting was at the Living Grin, and there's this dude that my grandma always talked to. Even before I was sober or went to my first meeting, she's like, I love this dude. He's such a great dude. Like, just the list goes on. I'm like, is he God? Like, you know what I mean?
Sounds like it.
Yeah. And I met him at that Living Grin meeting, and it was Tuesday at the recovery house on Rising Sun. I went to the meeting there, and I hadn't seen him in like 4 years. You know what I mean? And he's been sober, you know what I mean? Fucking 15 years at this point or whatever. And I remember seeing him. bro. And like I'm nervous to talk to him. I'm still sweating. I still have the same pair of clothes that I've been wearing for like ever. And he finally recognized who I was, like told him who my grandma was and stuff. And at that moment in time, I was like, this like weight like came off of me, dude. It was like everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and so I seen that dude at the first meeting I ever was at. You know, I mean, like this point in sobriety, like maybe I don't even couple days, like 2 weeks sober, or whatever. See him, I feel great, and then ask him to be my sponsor. He's been my sponsor ever since, and yeah, dude, like even the roller coaster in sobriety,
It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
Yeah,
Feeling all the feelings and dealing with life, you know, as they say on life's terms, it's a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot. Miserable for no reason, happy for no reason, sad for no reason. You just can't drink.
Yeah, you just can't
You just
drink,
can't
dude.
drink, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I bit off a big part of the app. They were like, no women for a year. Bro, I couldn't wait till that year.
But you listened.
I listened.
Good for you.
Yeah, and then, you know, I met this girl, and, you know, she was pregnant 3 months later.
No shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys still together?
Yeah, we're still together.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we're engaged, and
That's awesome.
my
Congratulations.
son's 2 now. And I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Wow.
I remember getting sober and like I'm like 6 months, and I'm like, I can't wait to be sober and single for the rest of my life.
Clean
you know
it
what I mean?
up.
Selfish. You know what I mean? Selfish. I can't wait to have all this money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do all these things. And God laughed at me when I was thinking that.
Now you're a
yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
What's your son's name?
Stan.
Ah, it's beautiful,
yeah,
brother.
Yeah, he's a junior, and
Hell yeah.
I'm just like filled with gratitude, man.
I can't
It's like,
imagine.
it's unreal.
When you think about all the stuff you've been through.
Yeah.
Is your fiance sober?
Yeah, she's sober.
Ah,
as
it's even
well.
better.
Yeah, yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster.
So what do you do? What do you do today to deal with all the craziness in your head when it comes up?
I don't deal with it by myself.
Yeah, you talk
know what I
about
mean? AA gives me the solution. Like
Yeah.
I built this foundation, and I don't want to. Well, the only thing that I did, it was they'd say suit up and showed up.
Show up.
That's all I
Yeah.
did. That's honestly all I did. And,
I get it.
and God put these dudes in my life, and the foundation was built.
Yeah.
And
all the things you thought were corny all hold true.
All
you know what I
hold
mean? I just
true.
didn't want to believe it.
yeah,
I get it.
Stayed in with the herd, and
My sponsor told me that like 3 months after, like he was like not yelling at me, but that was the one thing I wasn't doing. Like I'm married, I got a job, I go to meetings. I go to meetings almost every day. And he's like, yeah, but who are you talking to? Do you have any friends in sobriety? And I'm like, oh, no. That's the one thing I've done differently this time. Because I've been around, I guess, 12 years, in and out the whole time. And like now I actually have people in sobriety that I talk to, we text, we go to meetings together. It's like, so that's the biggest part of my sobriety. So I get that with the herd.
yeah, I haven't strayed from it. It's every day.
Yeah.
My whole contact list, majority of it's AA. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, dude. You know what I mean? I don't stray away from it. You know what I mean? Like there was a point, like my son was born, and like the whole dynamic of my life changed. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I had
rapidly.
no clue
Yeah.
what being a dad was hitting for. You know what I mean? And rested on my laurels, and not that it's been perfect. You know what I mean? But like constantly be in contact with other dudes. Like any big decisions, like I'm talking about. I don't ever want to make a decision by myself again, knowing that I don't have to. You know what I mean? And like I just know that there's guys that have my best interest and want to. I can't trust my thinking.
Well, everyone's been through, I don't care who you are in AA, there's somebody that's been through what you and I are going through. However unique you think it is, there's some dude out there that's been through it. So that's the beauty of it, dude. Especially when you get your hand up and you're just like diarrhea of the mouth and some dude stops you like, yo, cuz, listen, I had that happen to me. I'm not telling you what to do, but this is what I did and it worked. You're like, oh, that sounds genius.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, man. So sobriety's great. It's not easy.
No.
That's for sure. You know what I mean? And for me, at least, like, you know, there was a span early on because I was like so like on this pink cloud and stuff. But like as I stay sober and you know what I mean, like time's accruing, it's like I'm starting to realize like why I drank. You know what I mean? Because this thing up here is not my friend at all. You know what I mean? And you know, like people are like, I've never thought about drinking. Like, dude, when shit gets hard for me, like in sobriety, I got my hand smashed with a fucking pickaxe.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I maybe a year sober and shit. you know how difficult it is to go in there and be like, I don't want fucking any narcotics.
Yeah.
That's the easiest place to get it from.
Sure.
And know that
'Cause
it's
you
not going
deserve
to be
it.
fentanyl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but like, I think I took maybe 2 like ibuprofens and shit. You know what I mean? You know, like people die, it hurts. You know what I mean? It sucks. But like dealing with the whole life on life's terms thing, I never got my whole life until like being sober and shit. Like, you know, and I don't know, man. You know what I mean? It really is one day at a time. Like
That's
I thought
it.
that was the corniest saying before,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I really just have to keep it in today. Where like, you know what I mean? Once I start going in the past or too far in the future, I get all fucked up.
That was like probably the main reason why I would always relapse. You get a couple, 2-3 weeks sober, and I'm already projecting on what I can do in a year, and then it gets overwhelming, and I think I'm supposed to be perfect, and then bang, right back to where I was. You know what I mean? Do you do the green card? You read the green card?
Yeah. I usually keep the green card like in the visor of my car or whatever. I'm not perfect. Like I've been through my steps twice. So my grandmother, I think she'll have 39 years sober. In February.
Was she at Octus when you spoke?
Yes.
Was she? I wonder if I saw her.
Yeah, and I remember telling her like I was so hyped up. Like I went through my steps once and I did this AWOL program.
I'm in the AWOL now.
Yeah, AWOL's fire, bro.
Yeah,
That
dude. I just did
changes
my 5th step 2 weeks ago with my sponsor.
I went that whole time. Brian and Franny run it up there.
Yeah.
I went the whole length without the little red book, and there was like 2 weeks left, dude. They ripped me a new one.
How'd you keep track?
I just took pictures of the book after I got yelled at up there, dude. I got yelled
Franny's
at.
no joke,
No,
guys.
no joke.
Brian's the man, dude.
Yeah, Franny. Brian was the one who was actually upset that I didn't
Really?
have it, but Franny yelled at me a couple times. I'm like, damn, these dudes are serious about sobriety.
So they gave out the 4-step packet, but my sponsor gave me his. So I did his, but everybody else's packet was the one that they gave out, and there was a plan for living at the end of the packet. So I didn't do it because I did my sponsors. So you do the 4-step, and then you do the 5th step with your sponsor, and then you go to the meeting and you talk about it. And Franny's like, well, who didn't do their plan for living? And I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. And he fucking gave it to me. Yeah. And I'm like, my sponsor didn't say nothing about it. So, but like, he don't play, bro.
Yeah,
he don't play.
Serious up there.
But I thought to myself, like when, Pierre?
Yeah.
So he says to me, I guess this is early September, I'm going to go to AWOL, September, whatever the date was, you want to go. And I thought it was one meeting. I had no idea. So the dude Al at Octus is like, oh, I heard you're going with Pierre to AWOL. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's like 9 months long. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But then my thought process immediately shifted to, well, fuck it. That'll be another 9 months sober.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying it. It's a cool thing.
It changed the trajectory of my sobriety just because it's like, it's different.
Yeah.
It's the same, but it's different, if that makes any sense.
I agree.
And I loved it because even though it's, the one day a week, you're in constant reminder of what you're supposed to be doing on a daily basis. Yeah. And you get that from a meeting too, but like that's like some deep inner work there.
It's a different level.
Yeah.
It's a different level.
So that was it. And then after I got done that, because it was a long commitment, I think ours lasted like 10 months or something. And, I remember like sitting at the kitchen table with my grandma, and I'm like, how many times did you go through your steps? She was like, once. And I was like dumbfounded. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm ready to go through them again. You know what I mean? But she's like, if you do a good 10, 11, and 12, you don't ever have to go through your steps again. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn. Because I slack on the nightly inventory. Yeah, I slack on all that stuff. You know what I mean? And for a while, I beat myself up and like, you know what I mean? Like, talk to my spine. Even though it's been 4 years, like I'm early on in sobriety. Like that's just, you know what I mean? Like even I don't know. Like when I talk to people who got multiple years, are like, I just have today. You know what I mean? So I realized like the time doesn't really. I don't want to say it doesn't mean anything, but the reality is like we all just have today. And like once I started to grasp that, I was like,
that's the beauty of the program, dude. Because like I fail miserably a lot of things, dude, and like. Sometimes just not drinking is a win. You know what I mean? Start over tomorrow. You know what I mean? You're right, dude. Sobriety is like, man, the way we were living, dude, it was just so brutal. You know what I mean? Like even now, so I'll have 15 months on the 28th. It's my sober date's October 28th. So yours is a couple days after, well, obviously before, but, and I just think about like going to work every single day high as a kite, or going to work thinking I'm going to stop, and then leaving at break time because I'm running the job. So like, who's going to tell me I can't leave? Leaving at break time to get what I need to get to come back, and then I'm flying through and that was every day, dude. And like, brutal, fucking brutal, man. It's such a beautiful life, dude. You got a great story, man.
Yeah, I guess.
No, well, I mean, like, you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
So like, right, if somebody told me that I had a great story, I'd be like, okay. Like, so I get that.
Yeah.
But what you've been through, and you know, having 4 years sober and dealing with all this stuff and all the moving around. I mean, your high school life, bro, that's like a totally fucking crazy experience that you've got through.
Yeah.
You know, and then the suicide attempts and almost the second one, like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, I just like I think I wish even if I didn't pick up a drink or a drug, you know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for people that have the same thinking that we do, that don't pick up a drink or a drug, that still suffer. You know what I mean? Like, we have a program that we go to. There's meetings. We get like billed. You know what I mean? And like in my head, I'm like, even like. This shit would work for everybody.
I agree 100.
I mean? It would work for everybody.
Yeah, for
like,
all things.
All things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I'm so grateful there's a solution. Because before, like, you know what I mean? Obviously, the things that we think are the solutions are usually just temporary fixes. You know what I mean? And fucking... But, yeah, it is. It's a gift. You know what I mean? And the best way that my grandmother put it, like... Like, you know what I mean? If you decide to pick up a drink, you know what I mean? Like, you're spitting in God's face. And then, like, my head, like, that's the most disrespectful. Like, somebody spit in my face, dude, that's, like, it's disrespectful. You know what I mean? So I try to keep it in that. I got to keep everything simple, dude. You know what I mean? I've heard people say that a million times, and I realize it's the same for me. Yeah. Like, once I start complicating shit, I get all fucked up.
Well, I remember, like, early on in sobriety, like, trying to get sober years ago, and I would go to the Big Book at Holy Family, and you know, people would just complicate the God concept, and I'm like, you know, now being actually a functioning member of AA, like I do the same thing as you. Like, if I complicate something, I'm just gonna fuck it up, dude. Like, do I believe in God? Yes, that's enough, dude. Do I need to go to meetings to stay sober? Yes, so I'll go to fucking meetings. You know, I need to make friends in AA to help me stay sober? Yes, I'll do that. Like, but we can complicate a fucking blowjob, dude.
Yeah,
you know
real
what I mean?
shit.
Like,
yeah.
You know, like, but you said a bunch of times, like, you took suggestions, you just listened to the dudes that fucking know what time it is, like your grandma, the dude that took you to Malvern, like, they're the people doing the deal.
Yeah.
You know? So I just try to do what they do.
Yeah.
You know? It's a beautiful life, dude. It's a beautiful life. So I appreciate you coming on, man. Your story's amazing. Thank you so much. Any final thoughts, dude?
Nah, man, I just appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I was excited to do it, dude. I was excited. You know, I always get nervous, like, at the start of it, and I always get nervous, like, asking people, because, you know, I started this thing as a layer of accountability for me. You can't do a recovery podcast and fucking be relapsing, dude. So, like, it was just an added layer of accountability, and now it's, like, turned into, like, it's fun, it's exciting. I get to know you better, you get to know me better, and now, like, not that we wouldn't say hello when we see each other like now, but now it'll be on a different level, in my opinion. You know, so I appreciate you doing this. One final thought: Go Birds!
Go Birds!
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
I guess I want to end it this way.
Love you, bro.
Yeah.
We love you, Dad.
I love all of you.
We love you, daughter.
I love you too.
That was nice.
And I tell you what, let's go.